Hello and welcome back to City Planner Plays, where we are building Clearwater County. And in today's episode, we are going to focus on regional transportation. As I mentioned in the previous episode, the bipartisan infrastructure bill includes an infusion of cash for transportation, but that doesn't just extend to rail, that also extends to highways. So what we are going to do is work on getting funding for a significant highway project. Clearwater County officials are really looking to have a divided highway with safer access to the freeway, and it makes sense. When you take a look at this, what you'll see is that we have significant traffic backing up all the way up and down this highway, and in a growing region, this would choke off development. So we are going to focus on improving this highway system, which will in turn hopefully increase our demand already higher than it already is. So we are going to be doing something a little bit differently with this, though. Highway projects don't occur when the game is paused in real life. They happen when they happen in real time. There's lots of shifting. There are plans for the entire construction project. So with a highway project, there are multiple phases. So what you would see are plans to shift traffic, plans to move things, and we are going to be simulating that. And the way that we're going to do that is we are going to leave the game running while I work on the highway. So I think it's going to be a really fun project, and you're going to see what I mean when I get into it, but I do want to fix a couple of issues from the last build, particularly this one. I forgot to rotate this the grain elevator around. So there we go. We'll move that around, and then we'll line this up with the road. And one thing that was pointed out is that Bob doesn't actually allow you to adjust freight and cargo, so we're just going to leave that. And this isn't perfect, but the solution that I have for now is to add concrete ploppables. So that is clearly not a perfect solution, but it will. Wow, train's doing some things. Wow, that's a long train. Well, that'll be the solution for today. And I don't think that there is much that we can do to improve this, because you can't actually change the spawn points here. So we're just going to have to be okay with it as it is. So there's one other fix I want to make, and that is with regards to our train lines. So one of the things that I did is I went into the advanced vehicle options, and I went into the passenger trains, and on every single passenger train that we have, I changed this to replace the last engine with a car. And that was clearly I would say that is clearly a demonstration that I don't live in an area where I see these sorts of trains every day, unfortunately. So what I've been told is that these trains, particularly the regional ones, will operate in reverse. So we are going to do that too. We don't need to get wild with this. Okay, so those should all be fixed. Very good. So this one will operate in reverse, as will this one. And you see that that's about to happen right now. All right, very good. So I'm pleased with that change. Now, what we're going to do is work on keeping this highway running while we close it. And there are a number of problems that people have noticed. Like, this should probably be a parklo because we're encroaching upon this property. We're going to take care of some of those things. But one of the things that I did notice as I was going through this build and getting ready for the episode is at the edge of the map. If we go through and we turn off our edge fog, there's something really interesting happening back here. So I didn't realize that people actually spawn. They walk to the city and they spawn their cars, which means that right now there's freight waiting for cars to spawn. So this isn't going to work. So we're going to pause it for a moment and replace some of these edges. Now I can't go ahead and just delete this. It'll tell me it's the edge of the map. Can't do it. So what I'm going to do is go into move it, select these nodes and just delete them, and then replace them with a 4-lane highway. And that should at least allow those freight vehicles to pass the pedestrians on the highway, as crazy as that sounds, and hopefully lead to a better entry point into the city. So I need to do this a couple more times, at least 3 more times. Okay, and this was the last one. Things are running again. I'm just going to speed it up and make sure that we're seeing those pedestrians spawning again, because apparently that's something that we want. And make sure that people are passing. There you go. All the pedestrians are back. Now they're walking in both lanes. All right, that's not ideal, but I see that at least the freight vehicles are getting passed, so I'm going to accept it. And that should be the very last time that we pause for this entire episode. I am going to turn the edge fog back on. There we go. We'll hide some of that ugliness back there. So where we're going to start is by adding an extra lane where we can on the highway. Now, I'm sure that the county officials wanted a very large appropriation. They're not going to get it. They're going to get what Congress deems to be appropriate for an area of this size, which is a lot, but not as much as they wanted. We're going to go ahead and create some of our bridges. I'm building on this side of the highway so that I avoid disrupting the power lines. That would be a significant expense, and we do not want that. If there's anything we can do to avoid that. And that is our first little change here. And we are going to go ahead and get that upgraded to a highway. Now, the reason why I'm going to upgrade this repeatedly to basically be the exact same kind of highway that we currently have is that we're going to be shifting lanes eventually. So this is not going to be perfectly parallel, and that might be a critique that I receive down the line here from folks. And I understand the criticism and concern there, but that happens in real life all the time. And this is part of the reason why. You're working within the space that you have. And we are going to try to improve some of the angles on here. I think this bridge is a bit crooked. When we reconstruct that side, we're probably going to straighten that out. Very good. I like this. This is already good. So we're going to pull this along and bring this down. You see I'm getting lots of wonkiness using these highway roads. That's pretty standard. So I'm going ahead and not using those as much. My road guidelines are also kind of messing me up, and I might need to steal some guidelines or steal points now and then. Yeah, it's really kind of a struggle to get this perfect. So what I think we're going to do is just cut off this access for the time being. Now, this might seem a little extreme, but I'm okay with it for one particular reason. First of all, I'm really struggling to be able to actually get this to line up. So this will help out a lot. Secondly, this access needs to be rebuilt in its entirety. So because of that, I'm pretty okay with the idea of disconnecting this for the time being. And they still have the main access into town near Walmart. So it's not doing what I want, so I'm just going to go rogue. So here's a position where we're going to need to switch sides of the highway. So this is interesting, actually. I'm going to take this back because what we're going to do is shift and rebuild on this side of the highway. So this is going to be a bridge. We're going to mirror our other bridge. And we might start giving ourselves some more right-of-way on this side, just in case in the future we want to expand further. This is going to be one of our few utility relocations. We want to avoid that as much as we can, because that would be quite costly. And the utility companies probably aren't going to be super enthusiastic about this project. They will lobby their representatives, just like the county has lobbied theirs, and they're going to try to get this killed. Now again, I'm not using the highway right off the bat. I'm going to upgrade that. The main reason for that is, it's a game responding to the game. The game does not like it when you build with highways. They curve and meander in bizarre ways, and I don't want that to happen. So I find it to be a bit easier to build with any road that is not a highway. So that's what we are going to do. Now here's going to be another unique situation. We're going to need to rebuild our power facilities over here, and that's going to happen right now. So we currently have this power line coming in right here. We're going to cross the highway. And I would imagine this being a temporary power line while things are sorted. That does happen from time to time. And now here is another situation where we're going to need to switch sides of the road because of the fire station here. So the highway is going to actually switch sides where it is being built. And now I'm going to use that Verde Beach sign as kind of my ultimate guide. You're going to come and merge back in after the second Verde Beach sign. And I'm going to turn off my my road bending because I want this to be a nice, clean entryway into this highway. And you're going to see in the future what I mean by that. For the time being, you're just going to have to trust me. So now we'll get this upgraded. We're going to upgrade this to a bi-directional highway, and that's because after a while we're going to switch the roads as we're building to get traffic on the other side of the road while we make improvements to the old part of the freeway, and then we'll change the direction altogether. Now I think we are going to want to go ahead and continue building. And I'm going to take some game liberties here and fix this bridge using Move It. I bet you that highway engineers wish they had the power that I currently have because that would be a very expensive fix. It's one that I could do fairly simply. So I think right here what we're going to do, again, we'll use the power of Move It. We are going to take this, merge it right back in. And what we're going to do is upgrade this for a while to be a 4-lane segment, and we aren't going to access control this. And the main reason is we have this service station right here. And, you know, I've seen projects that have cut off these service stations, gave them access to a local road, and it has killed them. And that is not something that we are interested in doing. We're going to have to do some significant utility relocation to make this project work, and that's already going to be a problem. And that is because we didn't adequately use our right-of-way. So this is the sorts of things that drives up the cost of these projects and makes them really challenging. So just something to be aware of. So what we are going to do here, this would kind of be how the project like this is undertaken. The roads would switch, and at some point you would move the traffic onto the other road. So what we are going to do to kind of mimic this is temporarily have these connections. And if you've driven on a highway for any length of time, I'm sure you've run across something like this, where there's a construction project and you are forced to switch across the highway. It can be a bit unnerving. So now that we've relocated the traffic onto the other side of the highway, actually it's going down both, interestingly. So that'll work for us, I guess, for the time being. And the main reason it's going to work for us, and this is, we're deviating from reality a bit here, is clearly we wouldn't keep both sides of the highway open, but it's working, so we're going to go with it. Okay, so what we're going to do now is go through and actually eliminate one of these nodes. It's making these highways a little bit different from one another, and I don't like what it's doing. Hopefully they get over this. Apparently they're not going to. Apparently this is a deal breaker for them. Okay, now we're good. Now we're good. So I just wanted these to really closely mirror one another. And that was a way that I could do it. Okay, so now what we're going to do is work on a Parclo over here, but I do want to make sure that my highway heights make sense. And you can tell right now things are just a little bit wonky. So what I'm going to do is go through here, use Move It. For some reason, the zoning adjuster just does not want to go away. I had this problem in my practice build as well. Cannot for the life of me make this mod go away. Okay, well, either way, it'll be fine. So we're going to go through and let's get some of these lined up and mirroring the segments that they're near. Okay, so I think this is probably not high enough. So we're going to just bring this up a tad. This is the height of realism. All right, so now that we have that, what we're going to do, I do think, let's take a look at this. We wouldn't have this going on both sides. I think we're going to restrict access here for the time being, just to get cars off this road as we build our interchange. And what we're going to do is build a Parclo right here on this side and on this side as well. And the main reason for that is we don't want to encroach upon this property. And the configuration we had before was a pretty low capacity solution, and they have really lobbied to get a significant chunk of money. So what I'm going to do is come out 10 units, and then I'm going to use my curve road tool. Let's get all these road guidelines off because I don't care about them. Bring that over. Do the exact same thing on that side, and then we will use our curved road tool to line this up nicely, and we're gonna have problems clearly. And then we still have our road bending toggled to off, and that's exactly the way I want it because we are going to make a clean connection right here. And you might be looking at this thinking, wow, what is he doing? Just wait and see. It's gonna look really good by the end of this. So I know that this is going to be heading out of town that way. So this would be an entryway and that would be an exit. And then I'm going to go into node controller, clean this up a bit. And I'm not entirely satisfied with the way that this ramp turned out. So what we're going to do is turn our road guidelines back on. We're going to mirror this a bit and then a nicer entry point there. And what I think we're going to do is upgrade this eventually to a 3-lane road to give a little bit of an acceleration ramp in this area. Okay, that is much better. We did have a couple of trees poking through. We'll get rid of those. And then the next thing I want to do is go in here with my node controller like I did, make sure everything looks good. And then we just need to go and improve our slopes because obviously they are insane right now. You might have noticed that there are a couple of wonky spots here. We just need to take out those nodes and that should improve things. Look at that, much better, except for the way that this looks. We can fix that. Let's move it. It's looking good. That is looking good. One more kind of funky spot. There we go. And now I want to throw some lane markings in. And truthfully, I can't do anything on the highway until I'm done with it, so we're going to need to just leave that for the time being, now that I think about it. I see that the chevron's a little bit odd, so we just got to play with node controller a bit. And there we go. Looking good. Looking really good. So I'm pleased with the way that this looks. I do think we should come in here and smooth things out just a little bit. It's a significant project, and you assume that there would be grading to improve the aesthetics here. And we're going to go about that. Also notice that this seems a bit low in comparison to some of the other heights here. Sloping that'll do the trick. Now if we look at our grades, significantly better. We have one more node there that was kind of wonky, so I got rid of that as well. So yeah, I'm much more pleased with this. I think we could slope all of these. Look at how nice that looks. Yeah, looking very good. All right, so why don't we go ahead and do that on the other side of the highway as well? So over here, I am going to do a bit of pre-grading. And then we'll go ahead and take the same approach. Now we are having more problems with this one than we had with our previous one, but it's pretty easy to remedy. It's just a matter of taking that angle in a bit. And again, things look crazy, but again, we can get this looking really good with node controller. Yeah, that was slick. And look at how much faster it was the second time around. Once you have a system, you just can really cook through these things quickly. All right, there we go. So this segment is getting really close to us being able to switch it over to bidirectional, but I do want to do a bit of work over here before we get there. And I'm just going to do something fairly minor for the time being, but we'll come back to this in just a bit. Then I need to make sure that we're completely connected here. So I probably should have left this connected. And now I think we're ready to start upgrading this. All right, one side down, second one to go. Oh, there we go. Making some progress. And now we can work on some of our, some of our acceleration and deceleration ramps. And so I'm pretty excited about this. Okay, so now we want these to look natural too, so the main way that we're going to do that is just pull these out in node controller. Just stretch them out a bit, and that's going to bring a couple of trees back, and that's not a big deal. We know what to do with those. We also know what to do with this funky power line. There we go. Much better. And while I'm thinking about it, let's work on our slopes here. And now it's just a matter of getting our line work correct. that's looking good. Let's go back into node controller just to make sure that this is as good as it can be. Get that tree out of the way. As much as I love trees. I think we're good on that side. There we go. Looking good there. Next one. I had to do a bit of playing to make this the line work look correct. Even at that, it's a little bit off. Actually, I think it's pretty good. And one thing I've been noticing is that there are no cars heading down here. Ah, interesting. They're all turning around. So that is part of the pitfalls of doing it live. We're just ending up in a weird spot with some of this. I'm wondering, do we have a segment that is going in the wrong direction? I don't see it. Oh, we do, this bridge. Shoot. Okay, and now we have traffic again. Whoops. That stinks. We're gonna need to do a little something to make this look a little bit better, and I think that's just tightening this up a bit before we start our major offset there. There we go. That's looking good. We're gonna fix this down the line. We're not in that mode just yet. We will get there soon. I promise. Okay, so we also need to make sure that our lanes are doing the right things. Looks to me like there are maybe a couple of spots where I was off. That was one of them. Maybe that's only it. That's the only one. Okay, so that is fixed. Now you can get on the highway and off. So we need to work over here as well. Oh boy, do we ever. So what we are going to do is get our new highway joined up. And then we'll again come down here and convert to a four-way highway. We'll encroach just a bit upon that Verde Beach sign. We've got some work to do here. Okay, so nothing with lane marking just yet as we continue to work on this. We'll get there eventually. Oh boy, this would be so much easier if I stopped, which is absolutely the way it should be. So much easier if I stopped. So we're going to reconstruct a portion of this old road and try to line it up with our new one. We'll take a little bit of property from the fire department. And then down here, we're going to do the exact same thing. And this stage of the process would take a heck of a long time. This is this could be months of work. Getting just this road lined up and swapping back and forth and things of that nature. It would be a very challenging process. So what we're going to do here is make this a grade separated interchange. We're going to pay Walmart a whole bunch of money to move their sign and eliminate this access for the time being, because we're going to raise this over the top and again install a Parclo. Partial cloverleaf. I should not speak in acronym land. No one likes that. So that is our new connection. I am going to try to bring some of this to ground level and minimize our bridge span. That would be the rational thing to do. Of course, that really obstructs the Walmart sign. They are none too happy about that. In fact, they are probably looking to have this sign relocated to a more visible location. We'll think about that after we get our Parclo built. Ooh, we got a fire. Wonder where they're going. Huh. Don't see it, not going to worry about it. Going to continue to focus, which can be hard for me sometimes. Okay, so that is not high enough. That is what I was concerned about. We'll raise that up. Here's where we'll play the game a little bit. All right, very good. So I don't actually think that we need to have this marking the way it is anymore, so we're going to get this fixed so our highway can have appropriate markings as we go to fix this interchange. Also, hopefully in real life, whoever's marking the road wouldn't be marking it in the wrong direction. That could cause a couple problems. So we're going to take some liberties there. All right. So we've got this figured out. And this angle is absolutely horrendous. We're going to need to fix this. Now we've got a temporary power line in the road. So we will get that relocated. That's probably going to get relocated again. Just reasonably, when we're building this Parclo, it's going to cause some problems. All right. So next, we're going to do the exact same thing we did over on the other side. We'll get building this. We'll go out. We're going to go out a little bit further this time. So we're going to go out 12 units. So why don't we go up 4 from here? We'll go up 5, actually. We'll go up 6. And then we'll turn off our road guidelines. Since it's 12, we know we need to go up 6. We'll again have our straight connection over here and get those spun around in the right direction and upgraded to the right kinds of roads. 1 down and feeling good. Ooh, I do not know what just happened. That was bizarre. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. I think we're good. The one thing that I'm noticing is we have an extra node here and there, and that's going to cause some conflicts when I go to create this. So I just removed those, and I'll get this settled. Oh, that's looking good. That is looking good. For some reason, they are upset with me right here. We're going to add a ramp, an acceleration or a deceleration ramp right here. Maybe that'll improve things. We like that more. They seem to anyway. Right, very good. And node controller here as well, and that will get this to be a nice smooth transition. Oh, that's looking so good. So good. So is that tree in the road and that truck doing the turn. It's doing the do-si-do or something. I don't know. All right, so now we need to get our lines in here on this side as we get close. Oh, I can feel it. I can feel it. Okay, one down and the other one to go. So we're going to do the exact same thing over here. We'll go ahead, grab the 1 unit road, build out. This will go over again. We'll go over 10 for this one. And then again, we're going to need to take a look at these power lines, make them a little bit more permanent this time. Okay, so now we're in a place where we can again upgrade this. So we're going to go around and upgrade these, get them pointing in the right direction. Oh, much better. And for this wonky one, we'll just use move it. And now we're in a spot where we can start focusing on node controller and our acceleration and deceleration ramps. So that's the very first thing we're going to do. We'll get our ramps in place. We'll use node controller, spread our wings. Yeah. There we go. We've got a little bit of line work to do, so we'll get that taken care of. This again is one of those wonky ones where it's just not quite right. We can fix that by just moving these around a bit. Not a big deal at all. Get that tree out of the way. Oh, look at that. Looking this looks good. And I'm not good with these tools, so I am quite pleased to see them turning out as well as they are. Tells me that I'm learning, so I am happy with that. There is something going on here. It's like an extra piece of road. So we took care of that. And then we just have a little bit of last minute cleanup work to do. Look at that. That is looking good. There is a bit more node work I'd like to do. Now something's happening here with the freeway that's causing all the traffic, again, not to travel down the road. So we'll need to take a look. Is there one segment that is backwards again? Yes, right here. Just that one segment is all it takes. As I'm over here, I'm noticing that we've got some object height issues again. Just beautiful, just beautiful. So obviously I could go through here and maybe I should just go through and I'm going to play with fire. And maybe we'll do a little bit more cleaning up on this in the future, but for the time being, I think I'm pretty pleased with where this is all turned out. As long as I don't take it all and make it horrible right now, which is the route that I seem to be taking it in. Certainly letting perfect be the enemy of good, and that is never a desirable thing. We do need to clean up a couple of things. Let's just take a look at our slopes to make sure that they're as reasonable as they should be. There we go, and it looks like I missed my line work on just a couple of segments, so we're going to take care of those now. Looking pretty darn good. I am pleased with this. I think where I'm going to wrap up, at least for today, because we've got more work to do on the highway, but the next project is going to be a significant one. Just want to fill in the middle with some gravel, kind of clean up our build just a bit. Look at that. That really takes it to the next level, and this is the sort of thing that I highly recommend focusing on, and then just going through and making sure that you didn't miss anything. And the good and the bad thing about using this is that it shows the imperfections, so I can fix them, but I also see them. Now I've just got a couple more places where I want to clean things up, make sure that we are at the same height so we don't have any oddball stuff happening. And then I keep finding little segments where I didn't finish my line work, and I'm just grabbing those as I see them. I think this has to be the last one. Please? As much as I love the results of this tool, man, it can be a little bit tedious. Look at that, though. Tedious it is, but the results speak for themselves. We have this is a highway network that Clearwater County can now be proud of, and it is looking really, for a rural area, they have built themselves a network that will last them quite some time. Right. Looking good. Now, the last thing I want to do is go through, and we're just going to make sure that our heights around these places make sense, smooth things out a bit. I would fully expect to see that. And this is still pretty extreme. I don't know that there's much that we can do to improve that. I'm sure that Walmart is just thrilled that their parking lot has a ramp going into it. It's not great, but it's not horrible. And then we're going to relocate Walmart sign. We'll put that right here. And then in a show of goodwill, we will also relocate this sign and allow them to have that in a location that they're a little more comfortable with. So because of this, I think that they're going to be okay with relocating. Now this is kind of a touchy spot. That's within public right-of-way. That would need an easement. And don't think that would be an easy choice for decision makers to make. Because you give it to one and you got to give it to all. And you could claim it's an extenuating circumstance, but no one really sees it that way. Yeah, that's not beautiful. In fact, let's get rid of these trees or these bushes. We'll be fine without them. It is a casualty of the highway project. That is looking good. Just make sure we're good everywhere. Oh, one more, of course. All right, I'm feeling really good about this. Oh, except for this. Okay, now I'm feeling good. Let's see where we're at with traffic. 72. It's not perfect, but we're going to keep improving. I think now where we're going to see issues are some of these merge points. Yeah, we need to continue to extend this out, and we are going to. But the next project that we are going to have is going to be a bit more significant and require a lot more time. So in the next episode, we will work on a bit of detailing of this highway. We're going to work on a diverging diamond interchange. And I'm pretty excited about that. There we go. So I think we're in a better spot there. We're just going to need to continue our work. My guess is this roundabout is still the problem, and that is where we're going to be focusing in our next episode. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, hit the like button. If you want to be notified when I release new videos, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.